chosen one. You are not watching this by accident. This is divine appointment and perfect spiritual timing. Something has shifted in the unseen, and heaven has aligned your steps to this message because your season is changing now. Anointed one. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural financial breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer that will silence the voice of worry and replace it with holy certainty. God is not just comforting you, He is funding what He authored. As it is written, He supplies every need from His glory, not from the world's limits. Breathe, listen, expect. Your provision is moving. Chosen one. Hear me with your spirit fully awake. This is not random timing. This is a holy interruption. The atmosphere around you is being rearranged while you listen, and that heaviness you've been carrying is not allowed to follow you into what God is opening next. Anointed one. There are seasons when it feels like life moves by inches, when the numbers don't add up, when the calendar keeps turning and you're doing everything right, yet provision still feels like a fight. But I'm telling you plainly, the fight is ending. Not because you suddenly found the perfect strategy, but because heaven has stepped into your timeline with divine funding. You've been hearing that whisper at night, the one that tries to make you panic before you sleep. What if it doesn't work out? What if you run out? What if you fall behind? That voice has sounded so familiar, it started to feel like your own thoughts. But today, that voice is losing its authority. Fear is being evicted. The delay that tried to insult your worth is dissolving because God's timing is not late. His timing is loaded. Chosen one, you are being shifted from survival to supply. Survival says, just make it through. Supply says, walk in what was already prepared. Survival makes you brace for impact. Supply trains you to receive before you see. And the reason this feels intense is because your spirit is crossing a threshold. You're entering a realm where God funds what He authors, where divine strategy meets supernatural provision. And what was spoken over your life begins to show up in the natural. I'm going to say something that might hit you deep. You were never meant to live from emergency to emergency. You were never designed to be trapped in a loop of scrambling, apologizing, postponing your dreams, and calling it wisdom. Some of the things you labeled as being realistic were actually fear wearing a responsible mask. But the Lord is breaking that pattern. Let me ground this in real life. There was a season in my own journey where my phone would buzz and my chest would tighten before I even saw the screen. It could be a bill reminder. It could be a deadline. It could be somebody needing something I didn't have the capacity to give. Internally, I was calculating, moving money around, pushing things to next week, hoping nothing unexpected happened. And then something always happened, a tyrant expense, a setback that felt like it came at the worst time. But I learned something in that wilderness. God does not wait until you collapse to show you He's provider. He often waits until you release the identity of the one who has to hold it all together. The moment I stopped worshiping control and started honoring trust, provision began finding me in ways I couldn't manufacture. Sometimes it was a conversation that opened an opportunity. Sometimes it was an idea that became income. Sometimes it was help arriving from a direction I never considered. Chosen one. I'm speaking that same grace over you now. Heaven is not giving you crumbs. Heaven is building a feast. And this is bigger than money because God doesn't just fund bills. He funds purpose. He funds healing. He funds the assignment attached to your name. Resources are coming, yes, but so is clarity. So is peace. So is strategy. So is rest. You're about to notice solutions arriving before problems finish forming. And hear this carefully, what's coming to you is not a payment for performance. It's a release based on purpose. You have tried to prove yourself through overwork, perfection, and silent suffering. You kept telling yourself, if I just do more, maybe I'll be safe. But God is shifting your foundation. Safety is not coming from your hustle, it's coming from His covering. There is a divine economy that does not respond to panic. It responds to alignment. That's why this season has been stretching you, because your capacity is being upgraded to carry what's next without breaking. As it is written, God supplies from His riches, not from your limitations. That means you are not at the mercy of scarcity, delay, or denial. So breathe, chosen one. Lift your head. The pressure you felt is not proof you're failing, it's proof you're expanding. Chosen one. One of the first signs that heaven is funding your life is not money, it's calm. It's the strange quiet that shows up in your chest, even though your situation hasn't fully changed yet. That's how God moves. He establishes abundance within you before He pours it out around you. So if you've noticed your panic shrinking, your thoughts settling, your sleep getting deeper, or your spirit refusing to spiral the way it used to, that is not you getting numb. That is spiritual stabilization. Heaven is reinforcing your inner foundation, because what's coming cannot rest on a shaky identity. Another sign is clarity arriving faster than before. You don't have to overthink everything. You start knowing what to do next without needing 10 confirmations. Anointed one. This is not random confidence, it's alignment. When God begins to sponsor your steps, He also begins to guide your decisions with precision. You'll find yourself making one phone call, sending one message, applying for one thing you kept delaying, and suddenly a door cracks open. Not because you became lucky overnight, but because the timing finally locked in. And listen, sometimes the sign is subtraction. People, habits, environments, even certain comfort routines start losing their grip. You may feel less drawn to what used to distract you and more sensitive to what drains you. That's not punishment, that's filtration. When heaven expands you, anything that shrinks you must be removed. Don't panic if certain relationships go quiet or certain rooms feel too small. God is not isolating you. He is insulating you. He is guarding your focus so you don't leak energy right before the transfer. Let me be real with you. I've had seasons where I thought God was taking things away when really He was making space. I remember feeling lonely at times, like my circle was thinning, like people didn't get me anymore. But looking back, I can see it was protection. Because when provision started showing up, when opportunities started multiplying, those same old connections would have pulled me back into survival thinking. Heaven was preparing the environment before releasing the increase. You'll also notice that opportunities begin to recognize you, not because you're chasing, but because you're becoming visible in the spirit. Someone mentions your name at the right time. A conversation turns into access. A burden turns into an idea, and that idea becomes a stream. This is how God funds what He authors. He releases strategy with the supply attached. What once felt impossible starts feeling inevitable. So stop interpreting delay as denial. Stop calling yourself late when God calls you prepared. Chosen one. You are not waiting for a breakthrough, you are standing inside the doorway of one. Your only assignment right now is to stay aligned, keep your spirit clean, keep your expectations holy, and keep moving like someone who is backed by heaven. Chosen one. There is a reason your spirit has been feeling stretched lately, not because you're falling back into old struggle, but because your capacity is expanding. When God begins to fund your life, He doesn't only send resources, He enlarges the container. And the stretching can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like pressure in your chest, like restlessness in your thoughts, like a strange urgency you can't fully explain. But hear me, pressure is not proof that you're failing. Pressure is often proof that something is about to be born. Anointed One, don't mislabel sacred stretching as attack. Sometimes it's not warfare, it's womb. It's destiny pushing against the walls of your old limitations. It's your spirit pressing through the soil of everything you used to believe was too much for you. And this is why your tolerance for certain things is disappearing. You can't keep entertaining the same distractions and expect the same clarity. You can't keep pouring your energy into spaces that shrink your calling and still have strength to build what heaven is assigning. I remember a season where I was praying for open doors, but what God gave me first was discipline. Not the loud religious kind, real discipline. The kind that makes you stop scrolling when you're anxious and start listening when you're uncertain. The kind that makes you sit with yourself instead of numbing out. And honestly, at first, I didn't like it. I wanted the miracle to show up first. But looking back, I can see God was protecting me. Because if the provision had arrived while my mind was still addicted to panic, I would have spent the blessing trying to quiet a fear that never belonged in my new season. That's what God is doing for you right now. He is healing your relationship with provision. Some of you were trained by life to brace for lack. You learned to expect disappointment. You developed a survival reflex that says, don't get your hopes up. But heaven is breaking that reflex. God is teaching you to live from trust instead of tension, not because problems disappear, but because your spirit is becoming anchored. And when you're anchored, you stop negotiating with fear. You'll start to notice a new pattern. Provision becomes less of a surprise and more of a rhythm. Not always dramatic, not always loud, but consistent. The right help at the right time, the right idea at the right moment, the right connection showing up when you were about to give up. And it won't feel random anymore. It will feel orchestrated, like invisible hands are arranging details behind the scenes. That's because they are. Chosen One. This is also why certain battles are ending without you fighting. Plans that were forming against you dissolve before they reach your doorstep. People who misunderstood you lose access to you. Situations that could have drained you suddenly shift in your favor. This is not luck. This is divine shielding. Heaven protects what heaven promotes. And if you are entering a season of funding influence and increase, then you are also entering a season of higher protection because your calling is too significant to be left unguarded. But listen closely. Protection does not mean you stop moving. It means you move with discernment. You stop explaining yourself to people who can't discern you. You stop chasing what was never assigned to you. You stop fighting battles that heaven never told you to fight. You move with precision, with peace, with a quiet authority that doesn't need to announce itself. And this is where the shift becomes undeniable. Your identity starts to lead, and your circumstances start to follow. You no longer make decisions from insecurity. You make decisions from alignment. You stop asking, will it work out? And you start declaring, it is already done. Not because you're pretending, because your spirit has finally recognized the provider behind the provision. So if you've been feeling that inner recalibration, that deeper hunger for purpose, that sudden seriousness about your future, don't fear it. That is heaven tuning your frequency. That is God preparing you to steward what you once only dreamed about. And when the transfer comes, you won't collapse under it. You'll carry it. You'll build with it. You'll bless with it. Because you didn't just receive provision, you became the kind of person who can hold it. Chosen One, pay attention to what's been happening in your inner world. The noise that used to control you is getting quieter. The triggers that used to pull you into panic are losing their grip, and you might not even realize how much that is a miracle. Because before God changes what's around you, He stabilizes what's within you. He gives you a steadiness that doesn't depend on good news, bank numbers, or perfect timing. It's the kind of peace that feels unreasonable to the natural mind, yet it holds you like an anchor. Anointed One. I've lived through seasons where nothing changed on the outside, but something shifted on the inside. I'd still have bills, still have uncertainty, still have responsibilities stacked on my shoulders. But one day I woke up and the fear wasn't sitting on my chest the way it used to. The worry still knocked, but it didn't move in. And I knew deep down that heaven was doing a quiet work in me. That was the season God taught me peace is not passive. Peace is power. Peace is spiritual authority. Peace is the evidence that your spirit is aligning with the truth of who is backing you. And when that peace comes, chosen one, your decisions change. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop making moves out of urgency and start moving with discernment. You stop trying to control outcomes and start listening for instruction. That's when divine timing becomes real, not as a concept, but as an experience. You begin to notice that the right conversations appear at the right time. The right opportunity opens just as you are about to settle. The right door swings wide when you finally release what was draining you. Here is something I need you to understand. Heaven does not fund a life that is still addicted to survival thinking. And that's not condemnation, that's protection. Because survival thinking makes you grab what's small out of fear, and then you call it wisdom. But in this new season, God is breaking that pattern. He is teaching you to recognize the difference between a blessing and a distraction. Some things look like provision, but they are traps to keep you busy and small. Some things look like comfort, but they are cages, and your spirit has been getting sensitive enough to feel the difference. Chosen one. That sensitivity is a gift. It's why certain environments feel heavy now. It's why certain entertainment doesn't satisfy you anymore. It's why certain people feel distant, not because you hate them, but because your spirit can't breathe there like it used to. That's not you changing into someone else. That's you returning to who you really are. Heaven is filtering your life, not to punish you, but to protect your future. Because the version of you that is about to be funded cannot keep leaking energy into places that don't honor your calling. And let me speak this clearly, when God begins to fund your life, He also begins to guard your access. Not everyone gets to touch you. Not everyone gets to hear your plans. Not everyone gets to be close enough to influence your mindset. This is why your boundaries are rising. This is why you're saying no without guilt. This is why you're walking away without explaining. You're not being cold, you're being called. Now take a breath, anointed one, and let this settle. Your peace is not a pause before the blessing. Your peace is the doorway into it. Your calm is not a sign that you stopped caring. It's a sign that you finally trust the one who supplies. And as you keep choosing alignment over anxiety, you'll notice provision doesn't just arrive, it follows. Not because you chased it, but because you're walking in a rhythm heaven can sustain. Chosen one. There's a reason your appetite has been changing. Things that used to excite you don't hit the same anymore. The drama feels loud, the distractions feel empty, and the old habits that once helped you cope now feel like they're suffocating your spirit. That is not you losing yourself. That is heaven reclaiming you. When God begins to fund your future, He first upgrades your desires, because you cannot build a new life with an old hunger. Anointed one. I remember a season where I kept praying for increase, but I still clung to what was familiar. Familiar mindsets, familiar people, familiar cycles, and I didn't realize I was asking God to pour new wine into an old container. I wanted provision, but I resisted the pruning. I wanted doors to open, but I still kept my feet planted in places that drained me. And one day it hit me, I wasn't waiting on God. God was waiting on my surrender. Not surrender in words, surrender in choices. Chosen one, that is why some things are falling away without a fight. Not because you're failing, because you're graduating. Heaven is removing what cannot go where you're going. You may not even be angry at the old life, you're just done with it. Done with surviving, done with explaining yourself, done with waking up in tension and calling it normal. And that done is holy. That done is the sound of your spirit stepping out of captivity. And here's the part people don't tell you. Sometimes the biggest sign that divine funding is near is the discomfort right before expansion. It feels like pressure, like restlessness, like you're being stretched in ways you didn't ask for. But this pressure isn't proof that something is wrong. It's proof that something is growing. When a container is being enlarged, it feels tight before it feels free. When your capacity is being upgraded, it feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Chosen one. This is why your mind has been getting sharper. You're noticing patterns faster. You're discerning motives quicker. You're seeing through things you used to ignore. That is spiritual maturity. And it matters because the blessing coming to you requires discernment. The blessing coming to you requires stability. God is not just giving you resources. He's building you into someone who can carry them without losing your peace, your identity, or your assignment. Anointed one, let me make it practical. Divine funding doesn't always show up as money first. Sometimes it shows up as clarity that saves you from wasting years. Sometimes it shows up as one conversation that shifts your career. Sometimes it shows up as a skill you learn in a hard season that becomes the very thing that feeds you later. Sometimes it shows up as favor, people trusting you, recommending you, opening doors you didn't have the strength to knock on. That's heaven's economy. It's not random, it's intentional. So if you feel the stirring, chosen one, if you feel that pull toward higher standards, higher thinking, deeper peace, honor it. Don't numb it. Don't talk yourself out of it. This is the moment to align your life with what your spirit already knows. Because when you move into alignment, provision stops being a miracle you beg for and becomes a rhythm you live in. Chosen one, let me speak to the fear that keeps trying to return, because it will. Not because you're failing, but because fear hates momentum. The moment you start believing again, the old voice will whisper, "But what if it doesn't work this time?" That whisper is not wisdom, it's residue. It's a leftover survival instinct from seasons where you had to brace for disappointment just to make it through the day. Anointed one, I know that voice personally. There were nights I would make a plan, feel hope rising, and then wake up with anxiety like it was waiting at the edge of my bed. Bills, deadlines, responsibility, the pressure of being the one who has to figure it out. And I remember telling God, I want to trust you, but my mind keeps rehearsing worst-case scenarios. And what I learned is this: trust isn't a feeling you wait for. Trust is a posture you practice, especially when your emotions haven't caught up yet. Chosen one, this is why heaven is teaching you rest. Not laziness, not avoidance, holy rest. The kind of rest that says, I will do my part, but I refuse to carry what only God can carry. Because worry is not preparation. Worry is bondage dressed like responsibility. It drains your strength, shortens your vision, and makes you negotiate with fear like it deserves a seat at the table. But in this season, fear is losing its access. And pay attention, because when divine funding is near God, begins to heal your relationship with provision. You stop seeing money as a god or a threat. You stop seeing resources as something you chase like a desperate person. You begin to recognize provision as a flow that responds to obedience, alignment, and timing. It's like something in your spirit finally relaxes and says, I don't have to panic anymore. I can move with clarity. Anointed One, you're going to notice that answers come faster now. Not because life becomes perfect, but because your spirit becomes quieter. When your inner world is loud, heaven can feel distant. But when your inner world is surrendered, guidance becomes clear. Some of you are about to receive one decision that changes everything. One yes, you've been postponing. One no, you've been afraid to say. One step that feels small, but opens a door you didn't know existed. Chosen one, this is also the season where God starts sending people, aligned people. Not everybody, not crowds, but the right ones. The kind of connections that don't drain you. The kind of conversations that confirm what you've been sensing in secret. The kind of support that shows up with perfect timing. And when those people arrive, don't overthink it. Don't interrogate the blessing. Receive it with maturity. Heaven never sends help without purpose. And yes, some people will fade. Some relationships will shift. Some circles will feel too small. That's not rejection, that's elevation. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. The chosen life always comes with divine filtration, because what God is building through you cannot be carried by everyone around you. So here's your instruction. Chosen one, don't rush, don't force, don't chase what God has already assigned to find you. Stay obedient to what you know. Stay faithful in what's in your hands right now. Stay open when heaven nudges you, because grace is already moving ahead of you, gathering resources, aligning timing, and preparing the path you're about to walk. Chosen one. There's a moment that comes right before the breakthrough, and it doesn't always feel like celebration. Sometimes it feels like stretching, like pressure, like a quiet heaviness in the chest that says, I know something is changing, but I can't fully explain it yet. And I need you to hear me clearly. Do not mislabel that stretching as failure. Pressure is not always a warning sign. Sometimes it is proof that your capacity is expanding to hold what heaven is about to pour. Anointed one. I've lived that season where everything inside you is screaming for relief, but heaven is building you instead of rescuing you the way you expected. I remember praying for God to remove the weight, and what He did was strengthen my frame. I asked for a shortcut, and He gave me wisdom. I asked for speed, and He gave me stability. And later, I realized if He had rushed the blessing, it might have crushed the version of me that still thought like survival. So He matured me first. He healed my nervous system first. He taught my spirit how to stand steady before He opened the floodgates. Chosen one, that is exactly what's happening for you. You're not just receiving provision, you're receiving preparation. Heaven is shifting your inner posture so you don't sabotage what's coming with old patterns. Because some of you, without realizing it, have been trained to expect lack. You don't even call it lack, you call it being realistic. But realism without revelation becomes a cage. And in this season, God is breaking that cage without breaking you. You're going to notice something. Your reactions are changing. Things that used to trigger panic now trigger prayer. Things that used to spiral your mind now settle quickly. You'll catch yourself breathing deeper, thinking clearer, speaking with more authority. That is not random emotional growth. That is spiritual recalibration. Heaven is tuning you to a higher frequency, one where scarcity cannot survive, where fear cannot dominate, where anxiety cannot rule your decisions. And here's what I want you to watch for chosen one: the patterns of provision. God doesn't just provide, He reveals how He provides. He'll show you timing. He'll show you strategy. He'll show you the way doors open when you stop forcing them. He'll show you how the right phone call comes, right when you were about to give up. He'll show you how the money arrives, yes, but also how the idea arrives, how the favor arrives, how the I know someone who can help you arrives. Anointed one. This is why you cannot stay addicted to the old adrenaline of survival. Survival feels familiar because it kept you alive, but it will not take you into your next dimension. In survival, you react. In alignment, you receive. In survival, you chase. In alignment, you attract. In survival, you're always bracing. In alignment, you're building. And I know the mind fights this, because the mind says, if I stop worrying, I'll miss something. But worry doesn't make you sharp. It makes you tired. It doesn't make you prepared. It makes you tense. It doesn't make you wise. It makes you distracted. Holy discernment is different. Discernment is calm. Discernment is clear. Discernment doesn't shout. It speaks with weight. And heaven is increasing that weight in you. Chosen one. I need you to understand this too. When God starts funding your future, He also starts guarding your environment. Some doors won't open not because you're rejected, but because you're protected. Some opportunities will fall apart, not because you failed, but because you were spared. Some people won't have access to you anymore, not because you're better than them, but because your destiny is too valuable to be handled by the careless. I've watched God do this in my own life. I've seen Him block something I thought I needed, only to reveal later it would have drained me, delayed me, or destroyed my peace. And in the moment it didn't feel like love, it felt like denial. But later it looked like precision. Chosen one. You're about to look back on what didn't work and realize it was mercy. And now, anointed one, let me speak to your timing. Some of you keep asking, why now? Because heaven knows you're ready now. Not perfect, ready. Ready to steward, ready to build, ready to stop shrinking, ready to stop negotiating with doubt, ready to stop delaying your obedience, ready to stop treating your calling like a hobby and your fear like a counselor. Chosen one. Your next chapter will require your yes, not your anxiety, not your overthinking, your yes. The provision is connected to your movement, not reckless movement, aligned movement. The kind of movement that says, God, I trust you enough to take the step you told me to take, even if I can't see the whole staircase. That's faith. And faith is not denial of reality. It is agreement with heaven's reality. So let this settle in you. You are not alone in this transition. You are not making it up. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. The stirring you feel is real. The hunger you feel is prophetic. The clarity coming is not coincidence. Heaven is calling you forward, and what God calls, He covers. What God assigns, He funds. What God begins, He completes. And as you move, chosen one, you'll notice peace becoming your baseline. Not because every circumstance becomes easy, but because your spirit becomes anchored. That anchor is what will keep you steady while the doors swing open. That anchor is what will keep you humble while the resources increase. That anchor is what will keep you focused while distractions try to pull you back into old cycles. So breathe, stay open, stay obedient, stay aligned. Because the same God who carried you through the wilderness is now preparing to crown you with evidence that your struggle was not the end of your story, but the soil where your destiny was planted. Chosen one. Before we seal this word, I need you to recognize what's happening right now. If your chest feels tight, if your eyes feel heavy, if something in you feels both calm and shaken at the same time, that's not emotion for nothing. That's your spirit agreeing. That's heaven pressing its fingerprint on this moment, reminding you that you are not just listening to a message, you are crossing a threshold. Anointed one, I want you to stop arguing with the evidence of your growth. Some of you keep looking for a dramatic sign, but the real sign is you. The way you're still standing, the way you're still believing, the way you're still reaching for God even after you've been disappointed, delayed, and drained. That endurance is not personality, it's anointing. And what God anoints, He does not abandon. What God calls, He does not forget. Now listen closely, chosen one, because this is where many people miss their moment. The moment provision begins to approach, fear tries one last time to negotiate. It whispers, what if it doesn't last? What if you lose it? What if you're not ready? But fear always speaks in questions because it has no authority, only suggestions. You don't answer fear with explanations. You answer it with alignment. You answer it by staying in the posture of trust, even when your mind wants to sprint back to control. I've been there. I've had seasons where a blessing arrived, and I didn't even know how to hold it without flinching. I had prayed for open doors, and when they opened, I felt exposed. I had asked God for increase, and when increase came, old insecurity tried to rise up and say, "You don't deserve this." But I learned something that changed everything. The blessing doesn't just test your faith. It tests your identity. And God is not giving you a level of provision that your spirit can't steward. He has been preparing you quietly, patiently, intentionally, so when the transfer comes, you don't crumble under it. You stand. Chosen one. This is why you must protect your peace like it is sacred, because it is. Peace is not just a feeling, it is a signal that you are in divine order. And in the days ahead you will need that peace to discern what is truly from God and what is simply loud. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every open door is your door, but you will know. Your spirit will know, because heaven is sharpening your discernment and refining your appetite. What used to excite you will start to feel empty. What used to drain you will start to feel obvious. And what is aligned will carry a quiet weight that feels like home. Anointed one. Let me speak this over you with authority. Your provision is not running late. It is arriving in sequence. Heaven does not rush. But heaven does not waste time. God's timing isn't slow, it's precise. And what you thought was delay was often protection. What you thought was silence was strategy. What you thought was nothing happening was God building your internal foundation so you could carry an external upgrade. So when it starts moving quickly, and it will, don't panic. Some of you are about to see acceleration that feels unreal. Things you waited on for years will begin to shift in weeks. Answers will come faster. Connections will form naturally. The right people will randomly think of you. The right information will show up at the exact moment you need it. And you will be tempted to say, "How did this happen?" But deep down you'll know it was always being arranged. You were always being positioned. Chosen one. The funding of heaven doesn't only show up as money. Sometimes it shows up as a burden lifting off your mind. Sometimes it shows up as a sudden idea that solves what stress couldn't solve. Sometimes it shows up as the courage to finally say yes to what God has been telling you to build. Sometimes it shows up as a divine no that saves you from a trap you didn't recognize. This is what it means to be fully funded. Your life is supported from dimensions you cannot calculate. And because of that, anointed one, I want you to make one decision right now. You will not return to the survival version of you. You will not shrink back into old thinking. You will not sabotage what's coming with doubt, disguised as caution. You are allowed to be steady. You are allowed to receive. You are allowed to breathe without guilt. You are allowed to trust without needing proof first. If you need a simple anchor, let it be. This God is not asking you to figure it all out. He is asking you to stay aligned, stay humble, stay obedient, stay open. Keep your hands clean and your heart soft. Don't let bitterness pollute your blessing. Don't let impatience rush your process. Don't let fear make decisions for you, because the moment you stop striving, you'll notice grace doing what hustle never could. Chosen one. I'm going to say it plainly. Heaven is backing you. Heaven is resourcing you. Heaven is sponsoring the next steps of your life. And the evidence will not just be seen, it will be felt. You'll feel relief in places that used to carry tension. You'll feel hope return to dreams you buried. You'll feel strength in moments that used to break you. You'll feel a new authority in your voice, not loud, not arrogant, just clear. That clarity is a sign that God is near. So as you step forward from this moment, don't just watch for miracles. Walk like the miracle is already in motion. Speak like the provider has already answered. Plan like your future is not fragile. Move like the door is opening. And when the blessing arrives, whether it comes through a check, a contract, a connection, an idea, or a sudden release of peace, receive it with reverence and steward it with wisdom. Chosen one, you are not waiting for a breakthrough. You are standing inside of one. Stay aligned, stay grateful, stay courageous, because what heaven begins, heaven finishes, and what God funds, no one can cancel. Chosen one. Take one deep breath and let the weight come off your shoulders. Not because every detail has been explained, but because heaven has already spoken. What you have felt stirring in your spirit through this message was not imagination. It was confirmation. It was divine alignment. It was the hand of God touching the part of you that grew tired from carrying what you were never meant to carry alone. Anointed one, hear this clearly as we seal this moment. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of your becoming. You are not watching by accident. You are here because this is your kairos, your appointed time, where provision begins to move, where clarity begins to rise, and where the patterns of survival finally break. The Father does not tease his children with promise. What he authors, he funds. What he calls, he covers. What he appoints, he backs with power. So I speak over you now, chosen one, peace in your mind where anxiety used to live. Rest in your body where pressure used to sit. Confidence in your decisions where confusion tried to reign. I declare that the fear that whispered at night is losing its voice. The delay that made you question your worth is dissolving under divine timing. The burden you carried in silence is being replaced with supernatural steadiness, and the resources you need are being released in sequence, right on time, not late, not early, but precise. Anointed one, the transfer is already in motion. Not only financial, but spiritual, emotional, relational. Heaven is funding your life in layers. Doors you could not force will open with ease. Connections you could not plan will find you. Solutions will appear before the problem fully forms. And the grace that is coming on you will not feel like hustle. It will feel like flow. It will feel like God's economy touching your everyday life with quiet authority and undeniable evidence. Now, chosen one, as you step forward, do not return to the survival version of you. Do not shrink to match old environments. Do not explain yourself to people who only knew you in your struggle season. Walk with reverence. Move with discernment. Stay aligned with the anointing. And when the blessing begins to manifest, when the provision shows up, When the opportunity arrives, when the clarity lands, receive it without guilt. Steward it without fear. Honor it with gratitude, because this is not random increase. It is divine resourcing for divine purpose. I declare over you that your household will not lack. Your vision will not die. Your faith will not collapse. Your calling will not be delayed by doubt. May God strengthen your inner foundation so the weight of blessing does not crush you, but crowns you. May He purify your motives, sharpen your discernment, and surround you with the right people at the right time, those who can honor what you carry and protect what God is building in you. And chosen one. If this word stirred your spirit, if it felt like God reached through the noise and touched you, let your agreement be known in a sacred way. You can write a simple declaration in the comments I receive. I align. I believe. And if you feel led, share this message with someone who has been quietly fighting fear and needs a reminder that heaven has not forgotten them. Stay connected here if your spirit needs a place to remain anchored in truth, so you keep moving forward without drifting back into worry. Now go, anointed one, go with peace as your posture. Go with faith as your language. Go with wisdom as your covering. The wind behind you is holy. The path before you is blessed. The promise over you is sealed. And the supernatural transfer has already started. Be blessed, chosen one. Your provision is here. Your confirmation is here. Your future is already opening.